All right, what is going on today, chat? What is up? What is up? What's going on, chat? Another day, another grade review stream / some other stuff. Got a lot to talk about today, in my opinion. Got a lot of cool topics that came up on, what was it? Tuesday? Monday? My days are kind of blurring together. We had some cool stuff come up. No, it was Monday. I finished cleaning that one collection I keep talking about. Joran, thanks for the liking the live. Appreciate you. Welcome in. Cold, welcome. So we got a lot of different topics to talk about. We have, I figured it'd be kind of cool for change up the market watch to look at some Team Rocket stuff. That came up on Monday. The other thing I wanted to talk about today was trying to have a little bit more of a definitive line between, you know, what constitutes cleaning versus restoration and alteration and all that stuff. I think that'd be kind of interesting to talk about, get everyone's opinion on, and kind of make that line figuratively in the sand. Any advice how to start this? Got a few cards, but no idea how to sell them. Well, Brennan, I would say the best way, you know, to sell cards would be to talk to a reputable person. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. If you want to talk to me first, and I'll kind of even show you, you know, how I do it and how I would offer like a quote and like all that stuff. So you just want to, you know, there's obviously eBay, there's obviously selling to a local game store, and there's selling it like in a marketplace or whatever. So there's really a lot of different avenues to go to. But I mean, I definitely would take a look if you have cards that you're trying to sell. Jose, welcome. Anthony, welcome. But yeah, so we're going to be looking at that. What else? We're going to be looking at, I was really interested to see a little bit more about, someone talked about some prototype cards that I thought were interesting, that CGC, like not like recently graded, but I just heard about it on Monday. And I think it's interesting that CGC is grading a lot of different things that never have been graded before, which I find interesting in one aspect or another. Oh, Poke, thanks so much for the GGs. I just noticed that. Thank you. So yeah. And then as always, we have grade review towards the end. Thank you, Poke. I appreciate that. Yeah, I've been dealing with Poke here for a little bit, Brendan. Not a paid actor. Matt, thanks so much for the follow. I appreciate you. All right, guys. So again, if this is your first time here, thank you for stopping by. My name is Galaxia Gaming, and in this we stream every Wednesday. We call it kind of grade review. There's a lot more to it now, but this is episode 37. So first up, we're going to, I thought it'd be interesting to look at the Team Rocket set. Now, for those of you who don't know, during Worlds of this year, Pokemon announced the return of Team Rocket. So they did a trailer. I'm not going to play because I don't want to get like copyright striked or whatever, but you can watch it on YouTube. They basically released a trailer for a Team Rocket kind of sneak peek. As well as going back to some of the older like Gym Hero, Gym Challenge, like trainer-esque cards. So since then, I thought it'd be interesting to look at market trends for Team Rocket specifically since the announcement. So the announcement for this article in particular was around August 18th. So I thought it'd be really interesting to look at some of these. Now, obviously, with so there's two sets that were printed for Team Rocket. So it's Team Rocket, which is just the regular, and then Team Rocket Returns. So Team Rocket Returns is definitely the more rarer one because it was during the time where Pokemon was starting a little bit dip out of popularity. So on TCG Player, which I'm going to be using today, it's just a little bit easier just for stream and to articulate what I'm saying. It's going to be a little bit easier to see the market trend. So it's going to be, my biggest focus is going to be when August, like August 18th, so like mid-August till present, if there's an uptick in certain Team Rocket cards. So I know these ones, right? So right now I have it just filtered just by Team Rocket and then lightly played. Most of these are like from TCG player perspective. Most of them are going to be more in the light play because I want to omit, because TCG player has a really bad practice of being able to list stuff that doesn't really fit the category, specifically PSA graded cards. Hey, Betty, how's it going? Right now, I'm going to actually look at, so we did Market Watch, or like just to like look at the market last week of Scarlet and Violet, Sword and Shield, Sun and Moon. So I thought it'd be interesting with Team Rocket, the third set, being announced at the most recent Worlds. I thought it'd be interesting to see what the market's reaction to that announcement and see like what cards are kind of spiking in price because of it. I thought it'd be interesting. Hey, Nikki, how's it going? And so while I do this, if anyone has any questions or wants to add anything or anything like that, this whole stream is for you guys. So the more engagement, I'm always happy to go about back and forth with you guys. So just busted open a Stellar Crown box. Awesome. Hopefully you got some luck. Any shows coming up in New York? Yes, I have two. I have 2 shows in New York. Probably the bigger one, it's not really like a collectible show, but I personally really like it. It's fun, is the Saratoga Comic-Con at the end of November. Do people use price charting as another kind of TCG? Yes, Noah. Yep, people do. The only thing that I kind of that I warn people about for price charting is you just really need to make sure that like the sold listings that are being included in that are actually accurate to what you're searching for. Because sometimes it's like in a different language or a different grading company if you're looking at graded stuff. So you always have to kind of be careful. Make sure that your search terms are accurate. Okay, so let's see. So the big one is that's going to be the biggest indicator is probably going to be the Zard. So as we look, so again, we're looking at around August 18th, which is going to be right here. So for a lightly played unlimited holofoil, it doesn't really matter like if it's first ed, whatever. We're just kind of trying to see the market trend. So at this time, based off this quick and dirty graph, we got around like 150. Noah, thanks for the follow. Appreciate that. So right now we got a little bit like 125, 127 at the August 18th. So then as that announcement happened, you kind of suddenly see a little bit, we're starting to trend upwards here. So we're kind of trending up from that announcement, which tells me that the market is responding to the announcement made in Worlds. So this is a really good indicator, for example, on, you know, how Pokemon news at these larger events can have a significant impact in the overall market. And here's another example, right? So a lot of these Team Rocket return stuff. So this one, just as an example, these are going to be cards that are going to be highly sought after, right? Because there's not a lot of them floating around out there. Especially for these, like, they're going to be definitely harder. Let's see. So Dark Dragonite's another popular one. Again, we're looking at that August 18th, right? So around August 14th to August 19th, it's sitting around 50. And then you see it, zoop, you kind of start to see a trend upwards from that announcement. How about a first edition Lugia Neo Genesis? We'll take a look at that in a second, Yasmin, for sure. Thanks for the follow, by the way. Is it only N as the trainer for next year's card? No. It's going to be a bunch of different ones, for sure. I know... I think it's pretty much... I have the article still. So I know that they focused on Lily. They had Marnie on one of them. So it's definitely going to be a slew of trainers, but the one that you're talking about was kind of this like alt art or illustrator rare, Ends Reshiram. So we'll actually kind of peek at those too, because you can kind of see, you know, these were like the OG ones, right? So we'll take a look at those trends as well. I know, Betty, I'm right there with you. CJ, thanks very much for the heart. Appreciate you. So we got the Groudon EX Blackstar. Yes, I think I just did. The Marnie's Grimmsnarl EX. I think that's the only one that they had for the special. Let's see. The Black Star promo. But yeah. So I'm thinking, you know, whether it's gonna be worth, like, live up to the hype or not. These kind of quick little price points are kind of this increase in the market as of October 15th through the 19th, or at least the trend line going upwards, should be an indicator that, you know, some of this Team Rocket stuff is going to start picking up some traction up until the set's actually released. And as we kind of start getting more leaks and more announcements, when will they announce more info for next year's cards? I'm not too sure, like, on an exact date. All I know is that the main announcement was from Worlds, so my guess is probably going to be like Q1 or Q2 of 2025, or just like leak sites like PokeBeach.com or anything like that. So that'd be my guess, Noah, for sure. But yeah, so definitely keep your eyes out. If you guys have Team Rocket stuff, it's gonna start going up there for sure until the set releases, because people are gonna be like reminiscing on those older sets, right? The same thing happened with, you know, Celebrations or Evolutions or anything like nostalgia-esque sets. You're gonna start seeing trends like that. And then as for Lugia, light play, because you said what? Let's see what you asked. Was it first edition? You asked me for? First edition Lugia Genesis. So in most cases, we'll probably have the most sales data with light play, but we'll take a look. We'll just do for a year. I mean, it's trending up, I guess, but for heavy hitter cards like these, are very hard to get an accurate assessment on, like, their raw value, because they don't cycle through the market often enough to, like, generate enough data sets. But I mean, I kind of almost consider it like a blue chip stock card, right? First edition Lugia, like Notorious, it's like a great card to have. But it's trending upward, you know, for what it's worth. And I think the other one was a Groudon EX. And let's see, promo rate. That's what I think, Yasmin, for sure. And you said the 2003. Let's see. Probably the hollow one, right? Would be my guess. So probably this one. The collector's tin. Because you said 2003, right? So let's see. The one below it. Oh, the O2. I mean, it's not really... Let's see. I hate when it does that. It, like, resets all my settings. So over the course of a year for lightly played, it doesn't really look like there's much movement. Maybe we can check near mint, but again, most times when, like, you have near mint in the mix, you start to get, like, PSA stuff like this, right? This is what really infuriates me for TCG players sometimes. It's like, oh, like, I'm looking at near mint, so why on earth is there a PSA 6 Groudon in the near mint section? That's why I don't like to look at near mint for old, like, vintage cards. It is happening once I go through some of the other stuff in the beginning. So I'd probably say maybe, I don't know, like a half hour to an hour, depending on how much Q&A and discussions I do with you guys. And we just hit 1.2k likes. Thanks, guys, so much over on TikTok. I'm also streaming over on YouTube if you want a different viewing experience. Same name as on TikTok. Thank you so much for liking the live, that one guy. So yeah, if you learn anything, definitely keep your eyes out on Team Rocket stuff. So now let's take a look at the news over on PokeBeach. Let's see if there's anything new or exciting or for us to keep our eyes out on for the week of 10/7. So let's see. I think these are just standard, would be my guess. Yeah. So like someone was asking, you know, how go in for Surging Spark or wait for Team Rocket. I mean, it really just depends. Like, the biggest thing with the Team Rocket is that there's a lot of hype around it, which is like really warranted in my opinion, because it's a very fan favorite set. Like the Team Rocket and Team Rocket Returns, big heavy hitter sets, in my opinion. But it's really just, will Pokemon fumble the ball or not? Is really what it kind of boils down to. Yeah, I've been hearing about that, Nikki. I've been hearing a lot of people talking about like the discounts for Pokemon and Target. So if you guys have a Target near you, definitely get ready to get swarmed by a bunch of other people who are trying to look for cards. Let's see. Special delivery Pikachu stuff. Hopefully, I wonder if there's a special edition card that people are going to be. And I'm hoping not. Let's see, new special delivery. Oh, it's a mystery box. Ah, it's a mystery box. Gotcha, Nikki. Bunch of Stellar Crown. I'm a sucker for those. The mystery boxes or the lunch boxes. So let's see. Let's read this. Each comes with 10 randomly inserted items. So this is, I feel like, what is this, just like backstock? So they're limited to this, but I think it's just more of like backstock. That's all that means to me. Let's see. The Palmy? Yeah, because you said someone collects that, right? It's either you or someone else that you're saying collects the Palmies. Or you give someone Palmies, right? Something like that? Let's see. Traditional Chinese edition 5th anniversary top class card set with an exclusive Pikachu. A Terra Charizard. Got the Mew back there chilling. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Let's see. A lot of, again, more like leaks of Supercharge Breaker, Surging Spark. We saw these already as Japanese, but now they're starting to come out as English. Yeah, I've seen that. Even some of the texturing of some of the Chinese cards too look amazing. Like, they look so good sometimes. Like, and I think you got the like some of the Evolution special edition boxes, right? From China, like that they're exclusive to China or something like that, right? From what I remember. Let's see. All right, so some more stuff from Vivillon or Vivillon. That's a nice little alt art. Looking pretty good. Very realistic. Let's see. Yeah, so a lot of leaks coming out for Supercharge Breaker. Coming out, I think it comes out in a week in Japan. Yeah, released in Japan on October 18th. So we're definitely gonna be seeing more leaks from that. They started with Sun and Moon era, so lots of tag team. Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. Ceruledge alt art. That looks pretty sick. A lot of cool art or watercolor-esque designs there. Let's see. Yeah, it's just like a ton of Supercharged Breaker stuff. Any alt arts? Hide. That looks pretty cool. Man, I don't know what it is, guys. This like the Terra crown just doesn't hit home with me. I just really don't. Hey, Judd, I'm doing great, man. How are you? Currently, we're looking at some Pokemon news, seeing what's what for the week. And right now, we're looking at was it Hydreigon with the Terra Crown. Personally, I'm not a big fan of how they look, but it is what it is. And the rainbow border is like the turtle I could kind of write off as like looking okay, but now it's kind of like there's a lot. I think there's a lot going on. I think, but and it's kind of funny because I feel like Pokemon kind of also knows that too, like the company, because they'll make certain designs like almost like hidden, like the Greninja's crown is hidden, the Charizard's crown was hidden like behind like the upper border, so it's like you're kind of hiding it at this point. I think, but the Latias and the Milotic, yes, I also agree. I really do. Let's see, the Execute. I don't know why they're on a basketball court, but that's kind of interesting. And then the Lycia's Appeal. This one's going to be a very hot card to get for the set. And obviously the Latios and the Latias. Can you show the spoilers for Surge Spark? Let's see. Did I miss this one? Yeah, we got the Feebas and the Milotic. These actually combine this artwork. I missed this one. So the Feebas, chilling. I actually really like this. This artwork's really nice. And then the Milotic, kind of coming up from the water, looking nice. Oh yeah, Alicia will definitely hold value for sure, in my opinion. But then again, it's like, but then again, right? The Iono. I wonder. It's like I have it still. This one I thought would be a lot better because it's like streamer girl, whatever. And this one's still kind of like trending downwards, but I don't know. It's always a tough, like for me, it's always tough to like determine. Hey, Pokemon lover. Is it the new set? It's like leaks of the new set, yeah. But it's very interesting that Iono is kind of trending downwards, and I probably is because of that, because of the near mint or light play. Let's try it again. No, it's still trending downwards. It's very interesting that it is, but my guess too is that it's been reprinted a lot. That maybe people aren't as like with the milk crate, like what Betty's saying. So that might be part of it too, because it's like you have basically you have what 1, 2, 3, 4 different kind of like alt arts of her instead of like the standard just regular playing card to like actually play the TCG. So that kind of makes sense. There's kind of a lot, so you kind of like pick and choose like which one you want. Yeah, it's really interesting, Judd, for sure. Like you have like Priscilla, like really hasn't like maintained value, but I don't know. All 9 of 2024 is connected art cards. That's kind of cool. I always like when people do like the connected arts. These ones look pretty cool. And I see a lot of people who do like the card art, like where they like cut the cards or paint them or whatever. They like cut them out to like actually physically put them together, which I think is really cool. Let's see. I think we talked about this last week, but this was the exclusive reveal January special English. So this is the prismatic evolution. So with like the evolutions as a special set. So it looks like prismatic evolutions will release. Let's see, from Japan's upside. Okay, so Japan looks like November 22nd, and then it looks like first wave of product for us would be releasing on January 17th. Elite Trainer box, poster collection, 3 tech stickers. So a bunch of stuff it looks like. So this prismatic evolution is probably going to be coming out in January 17th. So we'll see what that means. Paradise something, yeah. And that's it for the news, because all the other like TCG stuff What do you think about Evolving Skies ETB's first print? Do you think it'll continue to increase? I think Evolving Skies will still remain an anomaly, to me, to be honest, because like it's just gonna keep. I think it's gonna keep going up until people, like until the demand starts to cool down. But I think that set is gonna be like highly sought after for a very long time, in my opinion, because it just hits so many boxes, right? Like made in COVID, like printing was, you know, printing just during that time was like all over the place. It has probably some of the best hits in like in a product, like all in one product, but the pull rates are atrocious. You know, they don't call it Evolving Cries for nothing. So yeah, I think it just has so much like kind of historical value, whether people want to admit it or not, right? I mean, the fact that we're still talking about the set, you know, it came back out at what, 2021, so 3 years later, which is kind of crazy to even think about, right? Let's see. It came out in 2021, right? But yeah, it's just crazy that we're still talking about it, you know. So I think so. I think it's a pretty safe bet. But all right, so that is the news and that's the market. So now let me load up another part here. I'm just going to be right back. I'm going to use the bathroom before I start yapping. So I'll be right back. All right, I am back. Go through a breakup when Evolving Skies came out and saying how much time has passed. I know, right? It's crazy. Time flies, man. And it's the fact that we're even still talking about Evolving Skies, even in 2024, is just insane. I have 2 sealed first prints, and I really want to see what they'll be. Yeah, I mean, I think like I'm kind of in that same camp, CJ, to where like if you have nothing really like pushing you to sell them, I would just sit on them as long as you could. That's in my honest opinion. Unless something comes up to where you need the money or whatever, just sit on them. Forget that they exist for like at least 5 years, and you can kind of check the market and see if anything moves. But for people that are like kind of collecting sealed for the intention of having it go up in value, you should really never have it see the light of day for a full 5 years, in my opinion. But okay, so the next thing that I want to talk about, and I don't know where my tab went, terms and conditions, is, so this comes up very, very often in, I'm not going to obviously like read any of this because I don't want to put anyone to sleep and I don't want to put myself to sleep. But the big thing that I have been having to do more recently is really define, you know, what's considered like cleaning and what's considered an alteration or a restoration, right? And I think it's a really important thing to kind of like discuss, right? So in this section, what I'm kind of highlighting in blue, so the gist of it is PSA in early September revised their terms and conditions where PSA will not grade anything that's been restored or any form of alteration or tampering. And so it really kind of leaves this gray bubble or this like gray cloud of like, well, what's considered in the eyes of PSA, what's considered an alteration or a restoration versus not, right? So I thought it'd be interesting to kind of talk about that today, to, you know, kind of help explain, I guess, where I come from, you know, in the sense of what do I, and I'm sorry, I'm probably like blinding everyone. Give me 1 second. There. You know, like what constitutes a card being altered or cleaned or whatever, right? So let me get my little fancy pen here. I know, I just like flashbanged everyone. Now everyone's about to wake up on the wagon in Skyrim. So yeah, so, you know, really where we kind of need to really kind of keep our focus, right, is, you know, so we have what, alteration. Let me see if you guys can see this. So alterations, right, versus like restorations, because these are probably like, you know, both of these are kind of one and the same. And then cleaning, which is kind of what I do, right? So I think, in my opinion, and again, if anyone has any disagreements or wants to add anything, now is the time, because we're gonna basically like, we're gonna not like make the list, but this is where I come from, where I think what I do is within the like the confines of PSA. So in my opinion, to start, is anything that I am removing that is added onto the card, I do not believe it is either an alteration or a restoration. So what do I mean? So I think like, you know, so dirt, or like a thumbprint. What else? Just like a smear of some form. I don't know what would be smeared onto the card. What else? Even like not like fibers, but like just miscellaneous, I guess. Like miscellaneous things stuck onto the card. I don't know. So basically anything that I would be, you know, wiping off of a card. So if there's like a little dirt here, I kind of just like zoop, wipe it off, right? So anything stuck to the card or added onto the card that I'm trying to remove, I believe is not within the confines of alterations or restorations. Now, for an alteration or restoration, right? So I feel, I'll kind of make a little mock card here just as an example. So if I saw, you know, if there were scratches or something like that, like across the card, for what I do, I can't get rid of this, right? I can't get rid of these scratches, right? So like these, I can't get rid of, because I don't, like, my techniques don't address the scratch, right? So things that do would be like card wax or any other substance that you're adding to a card to fill in or repair the card or restore the card, right? And so I'll probably just do like, add that to like a restoration, right? So that'd be wax, or chemicals, and I'm also going to put down by here water. So what I use distilled water, right? You guys have heard me say it time and time again, but water I don't think is, like, using distilled water isn't going to fall under a chemical or a wax that's going to try to hide or obscure any of this stuff. Now, the other thing that I think would be interesting is like stuff that, you know, is kind of like in this like weird gray area, are things like, you know, a humidor, or a, I don't know, like crease. I'll just kind of put this loosely, but like a crease repair, right? So does that fall into alteration? Does that fall into restoration? Does that fall into cleaning, right? Who knows? I personally think, and again, this is where, and that's kind of what we're talking about right now, Judd. So like where does crease repair fall into one of these kind of three categories? Yeah, exactly, Drew. But it's really, I think it's really important to really highlight, especially for this practice, because there are so many people. Hey, Jasir, how's it going? So it's interesting, right? Because like what you're talking about, Drew, like, so the restoration or altering is adding to the card to give the illusion of quality. So it's like you're not adding anything to the card to address a crease, right? Or like say for example, this card, right, in particular, like if you're to kind of look on the side, is like bowed, right? Like at this angle. So if I were to kind of take a humidor to try to flatten the card and kind of put it in between those like books that I always kind of keep talking about, to try to flatten this card out, the question is that an alteration or restoration, or just something that I kind of like fall under like a category of cleaning, right? And I personally don't think that this, like using like a humidor or like a clamp to press that down, which could, you know, also address like certain creases, would be considered an alteration or restoration. Me personally, I just don't think so, because again, like what we're kind of talking about, you're not adding to the card. That falls under, you know, wax or a chemical. It's just water. It's just humidity, right? So it's not, you're not really adding anything to it to fill in any of those like the damage or anything like that. So in my opinion, with creases to a degree, I think crease repair kind of falls under the cleaning portion, in my opinion. Now again, I think some might kind of fall under different different severities of that, so it kind of is like on this scale, like what Nikki was kind of saying, of being in somewhat of a middle ground. But I think it's something worth discussing. So this is kind of where I fall in this camp. Another one that's alteration, restoration, they're like essentially they're one and the same. I'm just kind of writing it over here. Is like coloring, right? So people ask me sometimes in cleaning streams, like, oh, like how do you repair whitened edges or on both the front or the back? It's like the only real way that you can is using, like, if it's on the front edge, you know, you're not using a yellow Sharpie as like an extreme example, or on the back you're not using like a blue Sharpie to fill it in. I don't know. So inside is still damaged. Like, are you talking about like the inside of the card? Because it's not like people are like, because I think for cards, really people only care about the outside, right? Because like a car, you care about both the inside and the outside, or a card, you really just care about the outside, unless you. Oh, does that apply to cars? I have no idea. I'm not even gonna go down anything about like cars. Yeah, it really shouldn't matter. For cards specifically, it shouldn't matter, unless it's like peeling the card away from the card stock, like the top layer, if that makes, because basically like in 3 layers, the best, because there's the paper, the cardboard or whatever the material, and then another layer of paper, or if it's hollow, that other hollow layer. And so unless the card stock is so destroyed or so moist or so like wet that you actually can peel the card almost like a sticker, then obviously you care about what's in the inside. But in most cases, that's not really true. So yeah, so I think So my kind of definitive answer on this whole thing is, for what I do in regards to cleaning cards, like being within the realm of PSA's new terms and condition, I think getting rid of dirt, thumbprints, smears of any kind, or substances with distilled water, I think is okay to kind of adhere to PSA's policies. Now, I think for restoration and alteration, you can kind of go back and forth with the term. So anything that you're adding to the card, like wax, chemicals, or coloring of any sort, I think is a big no-no, and it would be considered like a restoration, which would then give you like an altered, you see that for CGC for comic books or any other cards. But then our kind of like middle gray area, this kind of should be more of like on a case-by-case basis still, but I think more of it, like the humidor, increased repair, and flattening out cards, what we're kind of seeing over here, I still think that a majority of like at least these two, which is like a major part of like the advanced techniques that I use, I think kind of still go within the realm of cleaning, would be my honest opinion. But and other people say too, like, oh, like it really only matters if they catch you or whatever, right? And my answer to that is, again, my risk acceptance is very low. So if I ever get caught doing that, I think it's a bad reputation to have as a business owner for cards specifically, because if you see it like this, right? So if I, right, as a small business, I'm trying to sell you as my consumer cards, graded or ungraded, and you find out that I filled them in with card wax, if I just say that full stop, right? Most of you, I would assume, would say, okay, well, if he did this for one card, who's to say that he hasn't done it for every other card that he owns, or every other card that he's trying to sell me? Like, in the back of your head, you're already starting to question my authenticity or my transparency of the card's condition, which is not something I want as a business. I'd never want you guys to ever think of me as, oh, he's trying to hide this damage from me to make me believe that it's a better grade than it actually was when it came into his possession before he added something to the card. And so that's personally why I do not use card wax or use anything that adds to the card. I just do techniques that removes things from the card that was added on to the card, like what we're seeing here in the dirt, thumbprints, smears, all this stuff. So that's kind of why I don't use that stuff. I see, again, I'm not totally like throwing to the wind the idea of using wax. I think it's a really good way of using like all those cards in the back there. Those are all my old personal collection from when I was a kid. So I think card wax would be, if I really wanted to, I thought it'd be a really good way of restoring or revitalizing a lot of those older cards for my own personal collection, right? So I think that would be like bring a fresh, like breath of fresh air, if you will, into my personal collection that I never intend on selling. But the moment I want to sell it or grade it, I don't think that's fair, or I don't think that's right to do. Regardless if you get caught or not, I just don't, me personally, I just don't think it's the right move. I don't know. But some people might disagree, some people might agree, I don't really know. But that is my take. So that is that. And then the last thing I will discuss before we move on to grade review, for those of you who have been patiently waiting, I want to talk about the prototype CGC card. So I don't know if you guys have seen this. I'm going to pop it up on stream real quick. So yeah, so it was back in June. So I just heard about this like this week, where CGC just graded the Pokemon prototype cards that apparently were authenticated. So that was like the first thing, even in this post, was that the submissions came from someone with close ties to the original Pokemon playtesters who use these cards to help develop the Pokemon TCG, right? That's really cool. And when I was kind of doing some fact checking, one forum that I highly recommend to kind of like, sometimes there's some really good nuggets of information or really good dialogue back and forth. But the forum is called E4, so EFOUR. And sometimes I'll go there for just to kind of see what collectors are thinking, like higher end collectors, or just like general conversations that are happening. And so when I was doing my investigation, a lot of other people who were pretty notable in that community we're also talking about these cards, and they are in fact legit. But I think it's just very interesting that they're now starting to come to light, and you know, things like, why didn't they grade with Beckett, or why didn't they grade with PSA? Like, why did they choose CGC? Like, was it because Beckett or PSA, you know, this is like too niche to grade? I don't really know. But you would think that based off of the, like, almost like the historical significance of these cards, if they were truly, you know, prototype cards for like one of the biggest franchises ever, like ever. If you guys didn't know that, Pokemon is the #1 top franchise, like over Star Wars, over Hello Kitty, like all that. Like Pokemon's like the top dog for sure. So it's just interesting. You kind of see like how they like kind of translate it over. It's interesting that CGC was able to like, oh yeah, we'll grade them. You know what I mean? And apparently, you know, I'm not going to bore you with this, and I'll probably, if people are interested, I can post this link in the Discord. But apparently they did a lot of really interesting testing methods to verify if these were real or not, or like made at the same time. They use like X-ray scanners to measure the chemical composition of the card. It's like crazy. Apparently this is what this is. And then this is basically more just like fact checking that these were actually legit, and like why they graded them, and why did they want to even care about looking at them or whatever. You know, it's really cool to see this history kind of come to light that, you know, has only really been kind of talked about but never really seen. So I think it's really cool, and it really bears the question too, like how many other pieces of like Pokemon history, like cards or prototypes or whatever, right? Like, because we've seen even on like Pawn Stars, just as an example, we've seen the Magic the Gathering playtest cards that they use in like college, right? It was basically just like white sheets of paper that were legit and whatever. So it's interesting to see what other cards, right? We have like the Blastoise when they're doing the Wizards of the Coast, where it has the Blastoise on the front and the Magic the Gathering card stock on the back. So it's really cool to kind of see more of this stuff come to light that we've never seen before. So yeah, if you guys didn't see it, I just heard about it, and this is what the prototype cards looked like. So pretty cool. March playtest. So pretty cool. 1996. So, all right. So now it is a time most of you have probably been waiting for, which is the grade review. So let me get that squared away here. See me on the big screen. And let me get this all loaded up here. Oh, man. Hopefully you guys are having a good Wednesday, by the way. Appreciate you sticking around with my yap session. There's a lot of cool stuff this week. A lot of cool stuff to talk about. So I'm always excited to give you guys a sense of stuff that I'm looking for or looking at or whatever. So let's see. So this week we got first... What a name. Not a banana. What a name. It's like way up there. Let's see. I think we can deal with that. Perfect. Then we have... And you guys will have to tell me, because I've had a few people ask me this, because I legit, I know of the One Piece trading card game, but I never watched One Piece. I never have. And someone asked me, like, hey, like, do you review One Piece cards? So it'll be interesting to see whether if you guys will want more. I'll tell people that, like, yep, like you can submit them or whatever. But it's really going to be up to you guys on whether or not you want to see it or not more. So, oh man, too much talking. All right. So let me zoom in here. Hopefully do something just like that. Boom. Beautiful. All right, so thank you guys for being so patient. It is now time for the grade review, episode 37. So again, if you guys are new here, every Wednesday we do a free grade review where people in the Discord will submit their pictures of their Pokemon cards, or apparently now One Piece, and we're basically doing a live assessment on what I think and what chat thinks your cards would get as a PSA grade. It's a completely free service. We do this every Wednesday, and man, I hate, like, I'm about to get mad when I yawn. But anyway, we're gonna go over some cards. Which cards are being done tonight? The queue is posted in the Discord, CJ. If you look at the current thread for episode 37, the queue is posted. So yeah, I got two tools that I use during the grade. So I have a little magnifier, if I can get my pen. So we have a little magnifier tool that we can kind of look at certain parts of the card a little bit more in detail, as well as a pen tool that allows me to kind of draw on the card and kind of give you guys a sense of what I'm looking at. And I do my little logo there. Zoop. There we go. So yeah, so now that we got those tools, so first up is Not a Banana with the Mega Rayquaza EX. It almost looks like he's taking the picture of it in the sun. So we're going to take a look at this Mega Rayquaza. So again, for those of you who are new, there are 4 main grading criteria when grading a card, which is corners, centering, edges, and surface. So we're going to take a look at those now. So the corners with the magnifier tool look pretty clean on this Mega Rayquaza. So all 4 look good. The centering looks to be pretty good if I take my pen tool here, because there's a lot going on with this card. So I'll try to highlight it on screen the best that I can. So we have it right there, and we have it right here. So based off of what I can tell, the left and the right, the top and the bottom look pretty well centered. So far so good on this Rayquaza in terms of centering and corners. Now the edges look good, and the surface, from what I can tell, appears to be good. We do have a little bit of what appears to be like a white speck near the colorless energy that we can probably wipe off with a microfiber or something like that to improve that surface score. But aside from that, everything looks to be good. So let's flip it on over. And normally, and this is no exception, the back is normally where these cards tend to kind of fall behind in grade. So I'll first highlight them with the magnifier, and then I'll highlight them with the pen tool. So we have some whitening there on the top, right, which is obviously going to have an impact on the edge grade. We have some on the left side, and we also see them. I'm just going to leave my magnifier just still here for a second. So in the bottom left-hand corner, we have some scratches that are kind of all over the surface here, which we have to consider when we're grading this card. We also have a little bit of what I was just getting done talking about with cleaning versus restoration. The little mark that I have highlighted at the tip of my mouse here, my opinion is that you can probably just wipe that off to improve that surface score. So the white, excuse me, the issues on the edges we got right here. So let's kind of dot them, kind of fill them in as we go here. So we got that. Got a little bit on this top right corner, but not too much. A little bit there. And then for the scratches, I'll just kind of highlight them, make them a little bit more exaggerated. But again, it's more just to kind of show you guys or help you see a little bit on stream on what I'm seeing. So if I save this and kind of do like a before and after, you can kind of see where some of those marks are. Let me just move this over a little bit so you can see a little bit better. So, oh, pumpkin. Thanks so much for the pumpkin poke. Do I do sports cards? No, I don't do sports. I think like regular TCGs, I'm gonna review a One Piece card today to see if people care or don't care. But sports, I'm kind of like, most people are kind of like gamer anime of this channel specifically, and I know nothing about sports, so I don't want to sound like an idiot. So yeah, so that is the front of the Mega Rayquaza, and that is the back. So in this part of the stream, we got enough people in here. We'll just try to run it once. If you want to vote on what you think this Mega Rayquaza would get as a PSA grade, type !grade followed by the number you think this card would get. So again, that's !grade followed by the number you think this Mega Rayquaza would get, whether you're watching me today on YouTube or on TikTok. And then what happens is that the grades will combine from both platforms, and it will result in the chat grade. So this is what we kind of do. So if this is your first time here, it's not only myself that kind of gives you a grade, but it's also chat as the collective that also gives you a grade. So it's kind of two different perspectives. And sometimes like chat and I both agree, and sometimes we're a little bit off. So it's a nice little exercise that we do. And then while you guys are submitting your grades, you can do subgrades, CJ. I just end up rounding it up anyway because PSA doesn't do subgrades, but well, with the exception of the 8.5, which I think is funny. If that's what you're talking about, CJ, or subgrades like centering, like 9, edge, 7, we don't do that. Just wait, it'd be way too much. So yeah, subgrades, Brennan, are like, I know BGS, if we're talking about like 9.5 or 8.5, or the subgrades, which is the 4, which is like, because when you grade a card, you average those 4 subgrades together. So the centering would be like a 10 out of 10. The edges would be like an 8 out of 10. The corners would be a 7 or whatever. And then you average those together, which is ultimately the overall grade. But the subgrades are those 4 different criteria. But for stream, that's kind of, that'd take forever for me to try to coordinate all that. Brandon, thanks so much for liking the live. Appreciate it. Thank you also for anyone else who has liked or followed the live. Appreciate it very much. Definitely means a lot. So let me wrap up the poll here. So in this case, the chat grade is a PSA 7. So we just write that down real quick. So chat grade is a PSA 7. So we have that saved. Move that over here. Boom. So now it is my turn. So now what do I think this Mega Rayquaza EX would get? So the centering, corners, and edges look very clean. The front also looks in extremely good shape. The only thing that I can see, but I don't know if it's a part of the art, is this little white fuzz that could probably just be wiped away with a microfiber cloth. So if we flip it over, and we can kind of see my notes from before, anything highlighted in green. So we have a little bit of whitening there on the top, but we also have some surface scratches. They're not as bad as what the markings make them appear to be, so I'll turn those off. So we do have some mild whitening on the top and some mild surface scratches on the back. So the question is the front of this card saving the overall condition? Meaning that, do I still think, as good as the front looks, would I still consider this near mint or light play? And so I think the answer to that was, with the extreme light, I think these scratches are kind of being highlighted more so than normal. Additionally, the main whitening that I can tell is really on the top. I would say if there was any more whitening, you're starting to get towards like the light play. If I saw maybe like 1 or even 2 more on this right side, I think it'd be a little bit easier for me to say light play. But based on the front of this card looking as good as it is, and the back only have those mild whitening, I probably would agree in this case. However, and I always like to say this in case if there's anything more wrong with the front that we cannot tell, it would be an easy 6. But again, based on what we're seeing, I also think that this would get a 7 as well. So chat and myself, both think that this Mega Rayquaza EX would get a PSA 7. Mason, thanks so much for following. Appreciate you. All right, next up is Trout. Jor, thanks so much for the rose. Appreciate you. So next up, again, I was totally transparent. I know nothing about One Piece. I have no idea who this is. But we are going to do our best to assess it. Do you know if PSA considers or weighs the scoring more on the front than the back? To some degree, yes, Chris. So like, for example, centering. If you look at their website says the front centering should be no more than 60-40, meaning, you know, 60% on one side, 40% on the other. So like the ratio balance, where on the back it's 70-30. And additionally, you know, when you look at a card, I think kind of there's a fifth hidden subcategory called eye appeal, in my opinion. To where, you know, if something's drawing your eye away from the overall art or the overall look of the card, that's going to deduct the grade, right? Because it's like, I see nothing but the scratch, or I see nothing but the dent. And you're normally seeing that on the front and the back, because you're not really looking at the back of the card, you know. But yeah. But anyway, I have no idea who this is, so we are going to take a look. So I'm assuming it's modern, because I know One Piece is pretty modern. I think this was, let's see. It doesn't say, does it say the date? Does not say the date. Nami. Okay, so this is Nami, apparently. But we can still use the same kind of like grading procedure on this card like any other card. So it looks like the edge is going to be from here to here, and then from here to here. So if I'm looking at that correctly, that appears to be centered top, bottom, left, right, well, and that corners look good. So we'll flip it over. The back, however, it does appear to have some centering issues. So this left side is a bit thicker than the right. And if you're watching me over on YouTube, my cat just made an appearance on stream. So she is currently licking my hand as I try to write on my pen. Just wondering if I subscribe to the channel, would I be included in today's grade? Not today, unfortunately, Judd. But I will say, if you sub, because it's just like, I don't mind where you kind of sub, whether it's on TikTok or Discord. Discord makes it a little bit easier for me to keep track of. But if you do sub, you get a priority grade review for next week. So regardless on where you're at in the queue, you just submit in like the subbed grade review and you get priority, if that makes sense. But since the queue is closed for today, you'd have to carry over till next week. So with this card, I would say it's pretty off center from the left to the right. Additionally, I'm also seeing what appears to be some scuffing in the bottom here, like those little like white dots to the left and to the right of my mouse. So my guess is, again, since it's a modern, it's pretty much 10 or bust. I don't think this would get the 10 because of that. Both because of this like scuffing, whitening issue, as well as it being off center from the left to the right. Is it Jordan? I have no idea. I have no idea what this card is. I know it's a Nami, but I have no idea. But anyway, I don't think I get the 10. Hopefully that helped. All right, next up is Bokuto. So Bokuto with the Jolteon EX. I've said it once and I said it again. These EXs are probably some of my favorites. I don't know if it's just like the bold outlines or what, but they look absolutely amazing. And we just broke 3.2K likes. Thank you guys so much over on TikTok for liking the live, and anyone that's followed or subscribed either on YouTube or Twitch, TikTok. They both start with T's. I definitely appreciate it very much. All right, so the Jolteon EX. Let's take a look for Bokuto. I think they have some other ones too, as well, further down the line. So let's take a look. So centering of this card looks good. Corners look great. Texturing also looks very good. There's nothing I really see. Starting at 530 euros ungraded. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I know. I really know nothing about One Piece. Other than it's not instantly dead as a TCG, which is good. It's a good thing. Surface looks good. Texture, I mean, looks great. Front looks good. And the back looks really good too. Man, it's a pretty clean card. The only thing that I see, and I don't know if you guys can see it or not, is some of this mild scratching on the surface of the card on the back. So we have some in that top left-hand corner, as well as the bottom right-hand corner. So this almost looks like, to me, almost looks like it was side-loaded in a like side-loading binder, which I find interesting. But aside from that, the card is in super good shape. It's just those like mild scratches on the back. So since it doesn't look like we have more than 10 viewers, which is fine, totally fine, I'm just going to grade this card myself. So the Jolteon EX, the front looks great, man. And it's just really the back. It's really those back scuffs. I would definitely say that it's higher than near mint for sure. Because really the big thing is I don't see any whitening on those corners, which is insane. It's really just kind of these like this surface issue on the back. So I'll just kind of leave my mouse here and you can kind of see some of those scratches. So it's either like kind of like an 8 or a 9. Definitely wouldn't get the 10 because of these. But it's really just like, would you consider these mint? Like these surface abrasions? Because again, the edge wear and surface, front and back, also get calculated into this card. But I think this I think personally would get a strong 8 for sure, because it really just depends on how much this actually. So if this isn't as bad because of the light, then you're probably looking at it like you're creeping up to a 9. But this is the first thing I saw when I flipped it over, just to be completely transparent. So I think because of that, I think you'd probably be safe to assume an 8 on that because of those back scratches. So my grade, GG, and my cat is eating my pen, I think would get an 8. See the scratch on the corner? Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and that front looks great. I mean, there's really nothing wrong with it. All right, Faye, you gotta stop, brother. You gonna chill? Jeez. The cat's going crazy. And you know what? While I'm loading up the next one, see if you guys can see my cat. There she is. Hi, Faye. She loves to lick my finger for whatever reason, or my hand. But yeah. So anytime I'm trying to doodle something or whatever, she'll just chew my pen, like the entire time. And now she's gonna lay on my mouse. Oh, Miss Faye. The other thing that she'll let me do, I feel like this is just gonna be like a Faye stream, is that she'll let me hold her like this. Just like a little baby girl. Oh, miss. Isn't she cute, chat? Alright. Back to it. Yeah, people want to see hippos and penguins. Well, I want people to see Faye. Huh, Faye? Huh, little miss. She's chilling. Now she's gonna bite my hand the entire time. Alright, back to the grade review. Cheddar cheese. This man loves his cheese. So much that he had to say it all in caps. How's it going, Gryo? Nice to see you. And now Faye's just... If you're seeing me on YouTube, she's literally just staring at me. And she's probably going to climb on my shoulder here in a second. Frank, thanks so much for the follow. I appreciate you. And I'm just loading up some more cards here. And it's so funny, we just talked about this Iono. Load these up. Boom. Beautiful. All right, so the Jolteon we just did. We just did that one. All right, so this is from, looks like Evolutions. So the XY reprint of base set. Okay, let's take a look. So 2016. So we're starting to get, it's kind of crazy. We're at like the 8-year mark for these cards. And it's really funny too, because with Evolutions, and actually this, I need to kind of show this to kind of make my point, which I think is really interesting. Drew, thanks so much for the subscription over on YouTube. Thank you so much. So I think, not that. Just gonna search. What was I looking up? Evolutions. XY Evolutions. Yeah, the queue is always going to be in the Discord thread. So if I do Evolutions high to low, so a box of Evolutions is, I'm just not going to dig too deep into it, but basically it's $8.38 for a box, right? So if I look at the biggest hit, for example, just from like what we're kind of seeing, it's really not that much. It's really just the Mega Charizard full art and the holo rare. And they're only like 45. Was this lightly played? Let's see if it's any different. I mean, it will be, but to what degree? Yeah, so like 45. Like the box itself is crazy. Like crazy expensive. But the biggest hits from high to low, you know, is not even that much. Which I think is always interesting. Yeah, it's awesome, Gryo. Congrats. Frank, let's see. In the Discord, Discord, how do I submit for a grade review? So if you're already, I'm trying to understand your question. So if you haven't gone to the Discord, if you go to the link in my bio, whether you're on YouTube or TikTok, you'll go to my link tree, and then all you have to do is just click or tap that Discord icon, and it'll send you right to the Discord. And it will take you through an onboarding process to get to where you need to go to submit your cards. The biggest thing that I really need to reinforce and reemphasize is make sure to read the pinned messages, because that tells you the proper way of taking the pictures, because I can't have it in a sleeve or a top loader, all that stuff, because otherwise you'll get knocked down in the queue. But it's completely free, like what Joran's saying. So yeah. All right, so Hitmonchan. So really not that expensive of a card, like all the evolution stuff, which I find is really interesting. A little off center, from the right to the left. We do have some scratches here on the foil, but aside from that, not too bad. We look here, not too bad. The back is actually in really good shape. Oh, awesome, Frank. Well, welcome. Welcome, welcome. If you need any help or any issues, definitely let me know. Scratches by the leg, yep. Yeah, we got some here and here and here and here. So definitely not getting the 10, but the back actually looks pretty good. The only thing that I see is a little bit of whitening here on that top right corner. But I think we also see some other pictures here. We have some, like, you know, mild surface scratches, stuff like that. So I think for this card in particular, You guys can kind of weigh in if you want. I'll open it up just in case. If you want to type in exclamation point grade followed by the number you think this card would get. But well, first, I don't think it's going to be a 10. The centering is kind of all over the place on the front, and the back not too bad. It's really kind of the front. But I personally think, like, just like the mild scratching on the front, and it being a little off center on the front as well, I'd probably say probably a 7 would be my guess. Oh, you guys are pretty much saying 7 as well. Yeah. So I think this would probably get a 7 as well. Make a lobster. Why not? The artwork, the lobster fighting the Hitmonchan. I love the pen tool is great. I love it. Okay, next up, some more evolution promo is the Snorlax. Definitely better centered. The shiny Palmy I sent looks like it's going Super Saiyan. That's pretty cool. Because what set did you open up, Gryo? We do have a little bit of a swirl here, it looks like. By the hand there. Yeah, right, CJ, you're seeing the same thing I am. It does kind of look like a heart, though. Like the half of a heart. Paldean Fate's nice. Very nice. But we do have the hollow scratches, have a little bit of dirt. Again, I think you can probably wipe that off, that corner, as well as here. So it's a little bit dirtier than the Hitmonchan, for sure. Like this little bit of dirt and debris. But not too bad. Yeah, right, Poke? The heart hand. The heart hand Snorlax. But yeah, other than that, it's really just kind of dirty. And then on the back, we do see a lot more mild whitening on the bottom. So I'll kind of slowly pan from left to right. So as you can kind of see, all that mild whitening all on that bottom edge. So that's definitely going to knock it out of a near mint territory for sure. So we're kind of in the light play with sights on mod play, but I don't think the back it's really just that very mild whitening on even on this right side and the bottom. In addition to the front looking pretty okay, just with like very mild. I think this is a pretty good, in my opinion, I'd probably say it's a pretty good 6, for sure. I don't think it's any worse than a 5. I don't think it falls into like the moderately played category. I think a 6 is a very fair grade, a very fair assessment. Is it me or the back more darker? It might just honestly be the picture in which there's being like the lighting being taken. Sometimes it kind of makes it look like that. Is this the Tomlov unit? No, 3 wishes. So this is I don't know if you've been here before. The name kind of sounds familiar, but just in case, this is a grade review. So people of like members of the community will submit their pictures into our Discord to be reviewed on stream, which is happening right now. And so however people take those pictures, whether it be through their camera or microscope or whatever, someone actually use like a DSLR camera. And there's a big old bug in my room. 1 second. Because the last thing I need is Faye to eat it. So we're going to take, because I have no tissues in here, we're going to take this lint roller. And we're going to see if I catch it or if it falls by my computer. And we got it. I think. We did. Beautiful. Good old stink bug. Now my house is going to smell disgusting. Instantly in the trash. The Caterpie has been squashed. Well, it wasn't a Caterpie, but it was a stink bug. Let's see. Okay, I see in the car in the back. Yeah, for sure, Grow. Chansey. Let's take a look. Technical difficulties, right, Jordan? The technical difficulties with Faye just like beeline. I knew because she was like super close. Luckily she ran away, but if she saw that bug, she would instantly try to eat it. It's like I really don't need her to eat stink bugs. But let's see. Yeah, so there's definitely a lot of like little issues going on with the Chansey, like what you're saying, CJ, for sure. So we got these little like black smudges on the front of the Chansey. Got some scratches in the hollow foil. It's just like kind of, so a card like this, just as an example, would do very well for like a cleaning type service if you're trying to look for some improvements, because it's just kind of dirty. Like that's kind of the theme of these. They're just dirty. So you know, just taking something like a microfiber, taking care of all these little dirt marks or whatever. Give me that egg so I can make an egg and cheese. There you go. Some of the stuff you say, man, is so funny. But aside from that, like the back looks great. You know, there's some mild scratching by the red part of the Pokeball. But you know, not a lot like in the negative sense. It's really just kind of the scratches on the foiling, and just kind of these little dirt marks. But if we can get rid of like that one on the cheek, or by like the belly, and by the text box, it's really just kind of these mild scratches in the hollow. And depending on how bad, you know, we're kind of like in that 7 range, unless there's something else. But the back is really clean. Those edges and corners are really good. You're probably looking at a 7, maybe. I don't think it would be a light play, because the scratches, from what I can tell, are pretty mild. But you have to get rid of those. If you don't get rid of these like little dirt marks, you're looking at light play for sure. But I think you can. I think you can get rid of them, and I think it would probably still get a 7 if you could. That's my opinion, at least. Oh, and we just broke. Oh, I did not just. I need to pay attention. We just surpassed 4K likes on TikTok. Thank you guys so much for all the love and support. See if we can make it to 5K. Why not? I appreciate you guys helping me out in the algorithm. It really does mean a lot. And let's go for the Iono. So centering, great. Corners are great. Top, bad. That foil wasn't available on the early. Yeah, right. Too bad, right? Awesome, Samuel. Did I at you in the queue? Or no? Because I had the 37Q as a thread in the Discord. You can kind of check to see if you're in there. What made Iono so popular? Well, yeah, I know, because we actually just looked at that. She had four full art printings, and so I just think that she's like like, I have to say it, it's not like I actually believe in this, but it's like the waifu tax. It's like a streamer girl, like in the anime, like very popular in that sense. So I think that's why. And this card is playable in competitive. Yeah, the Rotom. So this Rotom is the that's like we're kind of seeing from that perspective. But yeah, the corners look good. The surface looks great. Nothing to see there. It's really just the back. Let's see. Old maid cards. Could you imagine? A pristine old maid. Tap tap. Oh yeah, look at that. 5.4. Look at that. Appreciate you, Poke. And whoever else was liking. Thank you, thank you. So yeah, really the only thing I see, you know, if depending on how deep this scratch is right here, see, I'm just gonna keep my mouse there. Hopefully you guys can see it on stream. Is that there is a little bit of a scratch right here. But I am on, because I'm on streamer mode right now, so their names get hidden on Discord. But I'm right under Bakuto, so whoever is after Bakuto. But yeah, so there is a little bit of a scratch here on that left edge. In addition to, like, I'm gonna keep my mouse here as well. So there's like 1, 2, 3 little scratches on that surface kind of being highlighted from that light. Old Maiden Point Salad's nice. You should post them in the collections channel on the Discord. But aside from that, man, I don't know, because that's super tough. Because I would say if these scratches weren't here, it'd probably get the 10. It's very well centered. The corners are sharp, but it's really just those scratches right here that I'm like, like for modern, I don't think they'll let that slide. If it looks like that in person, like if it's that noticeable in person. Again, my brightness on my monitor is pretty much to the max, so you guys might not be seeing it on mobile, and hopefully you do, but just to kind of highlight, and it's very faint. This is what I'm looking at right there. So probably a 9 if it's not bad, but definitely not the 10, unfortunately, if those scratches are as noticeable. All right. So next up is Professor Seda. You can see it. Thank you, Nick. So centering. Do I have the ruler? I haven't busted this bad boy out in a minute. So for those of you who have are being indoctrinated into the ruler, I have a transparent ruler that I actually press up against the screen sometimes to measure the centering of these cards. So the left is 1/4 of an inch. And the right is between 1/8 of an inch and 1/4 of an inch. So based on the almighty ruler, this left side, me be like when I see, I just bought, yeah, I do too. Joran, I'm like right there with you. I don't really like the stamps of these, like the ancient or the future. I don't know. I think it's just too much. I think it's kind of cluttered. Fake news, can't see the ruler. Well, if you're on YouTube, you could. I put it right on the screen. You know what? Call me a liar. Frank, I'm going to call you out right here. Ready? Look. This right here. This is the ruler that I've been using. So count your days, Frank. This is the ruler that I've been using to press up against my screen. Call me out one more time. See what happens. All right? Call me out. Anyway, now that I had to put Frank in his place. Now that, yeah, that's an old man ruler. you can't miss that thing. So yes, so based on the almighty ruler, this left side, and it's probably a bad place to highlight. So this left side is thicker than the right. So it's a little off center. So if we flip it over on the back, and I don't know what this is. I'm assuming this is stuff that you can probably just get rid of. The Crocodile Dundee, right, Frank? So I think this can probably be wiped off. And let me kind of zoom out just a little bit so you guys can have a better sense of what I'm looking at. So this, like these little white dots, I think you could probably get rid of. But I do see right there where the tip of my mouse is, and I'm actually gonna zoom in on the card itself a little bit. Hopefully you guys can see. Is that right there, right by the tip of my mouse? There's a little bit of a, that's the discipline stick, right, Poke? Yeah, you pretty much hit the nail on the head for sure. And we're at 7K likes. Thank you guys so much. So yeah, I don't think because of that, like little white, that whitening or that nick, even it looks like a nick more than anything. I don't think that this Seda would get a 10. And let's make, for good measure, we'll make Palmy angry that it's not a 7. And we're gonna make the olive here cry. It's like, oh, it's not getting the 7. What do you mean? Palmy's mad. And she's pissed. It's not a 10. Not a 10. Nope. Sorry. But anyway, let's see. So next up, We have the Snoop Dogg lighter. So we got the, make sure, the Snoop Dogg extended mag. Get these loaded up. We got the Entei. And then finally, the Magneton. Boom. Beautiful. All right, so we finished that one, boom. Baldi, from Baldi's Basics. All right, so the Raichu. Big fan of the Raichu. So let us take a look. Centering looks great, honestly. Let me move this over a little bit so you guys can see. Centering looks great, corners look great, and the surface actually looks really good too. Sam, I'm doing that right now, but not for you. If you're Bakuto in Discord, I have not. I just did, because you did yours kind of out of order. Well, not out of order, but you submitted the Jolteon. And then you, like, later on, you submitted the Raichu, Chansey, and the Porygon Z. We're gonna be, so you should be up next if that's you. So the holo on this looks great. Surface looks great. This is a pretty good looking Raichu. In all honesty, chat. Let me zoom in a little bit more here. So the only thing that I see as we zoom in here, so we kind of see some of these surface scratches here kind of going in a horizontal fashion. We see a little bit of whitening there on the surface, a little bit of whitening on the corner, as well as that bottom edge. But not too bad. I think that's the other one. And we got the on the table Raichu there. But yeah, I'd say really, overall pretty clean. It's really just the surface issues on the back of those scratches and some of the whitening on the corners. So I'd probably say, well, let's see if there's enough, because my stats haven't updated. So we'll do a quick vote if you guys want to. So I'm going to open it up to chat. We're going to do a chat grade real quick. So type in !grade followed by the number you think this card would get as a PSA grade. Again, that's !grade followed by the number and what you think this Raichu would get. So let that run real quick. But I don't think your Pommy's in here, Gryo. Again, if you guys ever want to check out where you're at in the queue, if you just go to the thread, I do that for you guys so you can kind of see where people are at. But if you're not in the queue on the Discord, then you probably won't be reviewed tonight. And that's really most of the issues from what I saw was on the back, but not that bad even. Excuse me. All right, let me wrap up the poll here. So you guys are thinking, Knight, thanks so much for the follow. I appreciate that very much. So chat is going to be an 8. So chat is an 8. All right, so I know, Joran. I think it's just because I just talk too much. Like the more I talk, the more tired I get. Oh, it's rough. Okay. So put that away. All right, so what do I think this Raichu from base set would get? The front, very clean. Corners, edges, centering, very good. Nothing really to talk about on the front on both angles. It's really the back that I'm really focusing on. So we have some surface issues on the back here where my mouse is hovering. They're going horizontally. Additionally, we have some whitening in the top right-hand corner, as well as that bottom right edge and the bottom. Additionally, it looks like we also have 1-2 points of very, very mild surface wear. So I think because of this, I don't think that these are things that can be wiped off per se. But I think because of the surface issues here and here, as well as the horizontal scratches and some of the whitening on the top corner, the bottom edge, and that bottom right corner, I'm probably leaning more towards a 7 than an 8 in that case, but I don't think it's bad enough to where I'd consider that light play. So chat is 8 and I am a 7. So good job there. And before I run through this Clefairy, I am just going to get a quick seltzer. For those who are wondering, I am drinking the LaCroix tonight. Not sponsored, by the way. Tangerine. So we're going to get another one of these bad boys. So take your time. If you guys have water, hydrate. I'm going to go grab a seltzer real quick. I'll be right back. Grab your seltzer, grab your agua, go to the bathroom, whatever you need to do. I'll be right back. All right, we are hydrated. 6 probably with PSA standards. Yeah, who knows? I hear you, Obi-Wan, for sure. Who knows? Because like I said, we've seen, I really need to like kind of pin or bookmark it. That one Mew that we saw that we all thought was going to get an 8 and ended up getting a 10 from someone that did a grade review like a month ago, which was crazy. But, all right. So the Clefairy. And as I've said before, normal types are pretty hard to grade just because of how light the background is and how easy it is to kind of see some scratches. So we'll see how this Clefairy holds up. So the centering looks good. However, I am noticing on this Clefairy, and I've mentioned it before, is the silvering all on this. And again, this was notorious for base set, unlimited, jungle, fossil. So it's not uncommon to see these silvered edges on the bottom and the right here. So that will have to be taken into consideration when we're looking at this card. But aside from that, there's really not a lot of scratches on this holo foil. Maybe a little bit there on the bottom right, but man, overall that card is pretty clean. And even from this angle too, you can kind of see more of that silvered edge really shine on this shot for sure. This shot's really clean too. But as we flip it over, yeah, so this one, I would say in addition to the front, we definitely have a lot of issues on the back. Right, so we have some of those surface scratches that we've kind of seen before. Additionally, we have some whitening on the bottom. Let me zoom out just so you guys see a little bit better. But it might be kind of too tucked. There we go. So I'm not going to zoom in because I don't think... Oh, no, you can see it. Perfect. So on this bottom part, yeah, it's pretty rough. So, you know, right off the bat, I've said it once, I've said it before. If I kind of equate a raw grade or a raw assessment to a grade, I don't think this would be a near mint, which would be a PSA 7. Brat, thanks so much for the follow. Appreciate you. And thanks so much for everyone liking and sharing and following the live. Definitely means a lot, whether you're watching me on YouTube or TikTok. But yeah, so I don't think this card's near mint at all, just based on the back. But I would say, you know, it's a shame, right? Like, there is mild, very, very mild scratching on the front. But again, we do have some of that silvered edge on this right side. Hey, Maurice, how's it going? And yeah, I would probably say that this card would be a very, very strong 6, in my opinion. Because again, because of that whitening on that bottom corner, it's kind of a shame, but it is what it is. And Clefairy's sad about it. But it's okay, Clefairy. You did your best. Maybe even do like a little beard. Oh, that's awesome, Maurice. What video did you watch? Just out of curiosity. CJ, thanks so much for sharing the live. Appreciate you. So Clefairy is not very happy. Now I'm just doing illustrations. Now this is just an art class. Jamming out. I should have backed out and joined the Discord while you went to get a seltzer, right? Oh, nice, CJ. Well, thanks so much for sticking around, man. I appreciate it. Have fun. That show's crazy. For the thing on the bottom. Thing on the bottom. Why am I missing a picture? Oh, because it's out of order. There we go. Oh, nice. The pinned intro. Very cool. Well, welcome in. Yeah, that was the that's the channel intro with my voice actor that does the voice of my mascot Eve. Is this the right one? Yes. All right, so let us see if this is... Sorry, I just had to check up something. So we're always going to check. It's very hard to tell, but we can't. So for those of you who don't know, I think it's for the Japanese release of this specifically, there is an error for this specific Mew where they spell Nintendo wrong. So it's, what is that, like Nintendo, I think, is how they spell it. Let's see, I think it was, let me pop this up. So I think it's the Mew Nintendo error or something. I can't remember. Nintendo. There we go. The Nintendo error. And that is this right here. So the Nintendo error, yeah, so it's the Japanese variant. So hopefully you guys can, geez, I gotta like click on like 30 different things. So it's this right here where they spell Nintendo. So Nintedo. So that is a pretty highly sought after Ancient Mew error to look for if you ever see this card. Because sometimes it's hard to see if it's in Japanese or not, but always look to see how your Ancient Mews are spelled. If it's spelled Nintedo, it is an error. Oh, that's awesome, Frank. But yeah, Always food for thought. Always like to bring that up when I can. But it doesn't look like this is the case. So it's probably most likely the English version. Additionally, by the text too, the text looks way bigger on the bottom for the Japanese. Pretty well centered. Corners look good. In this image, wow, the surface actually looks really good on this one. Like there's no like major scratches, especially for something being pretty much fully hollow. Looks pretty great. The back, the same. Not really seeing anything major. And I think that's the only other picture we have. Yeah, I mean, corners look great. Surface looks really good. Unlike most Japanese Ancient Mew is surprisingly worth more than English. I feel like I kind of believe that, right? Because it was meant to be pretty much printed into the ground because it was a movie promo, right? So I don't really know how they distributed it in Japan. Because I remember when this movie first came out, it was my friend and I stayed when it was Mewtwo Strikes Back. We stayed until the movie ended, and then when everyone left, we pretty much scoured the floor for Pokemon cards, and we were able to get a surprisingly good amount. Because, you know, the parents who went with their kids, they didn't want those cards, so they just, like, threw them on the ground. But back centering is a little off, thicker right side. All right, the ruler's coming out, Frank. Let's take a look. All right, so that right side is just barely over a 1/4 inch, and the left side is pretty much at a 1/4 inch. So you are right, it is a little bit thicker on the right than the left, but I think we should be good within that realm of like being like within the 10 qualifier. But who knows. But the surface looks really clean. Like really the only thing I can see is probably this little bit needs to be cleaned off, whatever that is. But I don't see any major scratches. I think I'd probably, unless you guys are seeing something that I'm not, I would submit that for sure. At the worst, I'd get a 9, but I'd say I still would. I got my HMU back from the movie too, but the corner is bad. Well, you probably loved it. You know what I mean? Like as a kid. All right, next up is the Entei, another movie promo. With a pretty nasty print line, which basically what I'm seeing here. So normally, sometimes when I bring up print lines, people like to ask like, how can I tell? In this case, it's very straight. There's really no deviation from it. So this kind of tells me that this is a print line when this card was printed, hence the term print line. So that's obviously going to have some significant impact. We do have some scratches there above the 80 HP across the Entei on top. So as that angle looks, I mean, there's really not much we can really tell from this angle. There's not a lot of scratches in that like super exposed section. And on the back, you know, we have some mild whitening on the bottom left and the bottom right, and possibly the center, or that might be some dust. I don't know. But you know, I think this is pretty common for these promos specifically. It looks pretty good. I'd say for gradability though, you know, with that print line and some of these scratches here on the top, you know, you're kind of like in the 8 to 7 range. Especially with like these little bits of whitening. So you got the 1, 2, and let me just mark these with my pen tool so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, but very mild though. They're not major at all. 5, 6. So maybe an 8. Maybe an 8, maybe a 7. Probably though, with that print line and some of the scratches on top, might be an 8. Possibly a 7. Probably an 8. All right, so this was the Magneton, right? Yes, but they're all out of like order, weirdly. There we go. All right, so Japanese Magneton from Fossil. For whatever reason, a lot of the ones from Fossil are always like super off-centered, and this one doesn't look like it's any exception. So it's like super skinny on this left side and then kind of thick on that right side. But the top and the bottom look well centered. No scratching on the hollow that I can tell, which is really good. Yeah, the front looks good. It's just off center. And the back looks great too. You know, with the exception of some of these like very, very mild scratches on that back surface and some of this mild whitening on that right edge. So I think if this is, because I don't think this is like the center of the cardstock just based off the angle. I don't think so. So I probably say that this would probably be a pretty strong 7, because like most of your like with the centering alone, I think you're already looking at an 8, but like with the 8 centering plus this mild surface scratch on the top, and some of this whitening on this right edge, as well as the bottom, I think you're probably looking at a pretty strong 7, in my opinion. But all right, so thank you for that. Streamer mode is on, so I can't see your name. So next, I think if this is who you are, Samuel, I think I'm about to look at your cards with that Porygon Z. So we got the reverse rare Raichu from Evolutions, the full holo, another Chansey from Evolutions, as well as the Porygon Z. I think it's the first time the Porygon Z has been in stream. Ryan, how do we share cards to review? So first, welcome, my friend. I probably can. I'm just too lazy to do it right now, Jordan, to be honest. So if you go to my link in my bio, it'll send you to my link tree, which should look something like this. So all you have to do is once you're here, you just have to click or tap the Discord icon, and it will send you to my Discord, which will then send you to my grade review channel. So all you have to do in the grade review channel is take pictures of your cards front and back outside of sleeves in a well-lit area, and submit your cards for free. I do this every Wednesday. It is first come, first serve. However, if you want your cards expedited, the Discord server also offers server shop, which you can purchase a subscription to have expedited grading service, as well as some other perks as well. Yeah, you are totally correct, Joran. I just saw that. Again, my laziness knows no bounds. All right, but thank you, my Discord guru, Joran. All right, so let's take a look. Let's see. So I'm just kind of centering these a little bit. Make sure that you guys can see these okay. We got the spooky Lavender Town music, very fitting for Halloween. Hopefully you guys are big Halloween fans as I am. Love Halloween. All right. Reverse rare Raichu from Evolutions. Centering a little bit thicker on that left side than it is on the right, for sure. So let me move that over so it's not taking up the entire card. So this left side's thicker than the right, so we do have that going for it. I also agree, Joran, this Raichu has definitely seen better days. It's pretty much scratched all across the hollow, you know, so we're like all in this section on this bottom is pretty scratched, as well as up here, as to be expected for a reverse hollow, if not like pretty much immediately put into a sleeve. So we do have that going for it. You kind of see some more angles there as well, but the back is really where we're kind of like getting our big oofs in, because we got some pretty major whitening on this corner, this edge. Man, I got a lot to paint here. So we got that. We got this left corner. We got this corner here. So yeah, it's pretty beat for sure, Joran. Ryan, thanks so much for liking the live. Appreciate you. So we saved. So we kind of do like a little quick like little before and after, and I think my thing's gonna reset. Yeah. So really, it's more on this left side. So if we kind of do a quick before and after, you can kind of see that significant whitening. So, you know, I would say with the scratches on the front and the pretty much significant whitening all on that backside, I would probably give this Raichu a 5. If it were me, like if I were to sell this card raw, I would personally call this moderately played, especially on that full left side. I don't think that's light play. I think that's pretty significant. So unfortunately, Raichu, you get the sad eyebrows and the tears for how scratched you are. So, and you now turn into a Poliwhirl. So, it is what it is. It is pretty scratched. It has seen better days, for sure. Maybe even make it like a cheerleader with the pom-poms. There you go. Too bad, so sad, Raichu. But yeah, I think PSA 5, for sure. Chansey is up next. Let's take a look. A lot better than the Raichu, tell you that. In terms of like the hollow, I mean, there are still some scratches, but not nearly as bad. Centering is actually really good. The corners are really good. This angle is great. There's nothing really noticeable that I can tell. In terms of the back, a lot better than that Raichu for sure. I'm like picking on the Raichu, but you know, you gotta call it when I see it. So we have, let's see. So we do have some very small bits of whitening on this left edge, as well as the bottom left-hand corner. But not bad though. Not bad at all. So I'd probably, this one's in pretty decent shape, I'm not gonna lie. Especially that front hollow. You know, we do have some mild scratching here in these sections, but really not bad. Centering looks great. Edges look good. Corners look good. So maybe like an 8 to a 7 to an 8. Really the only thing that I can't really tell from this angle, because it's a little bit blurry on the top, would be really kind of in this section. And that's probably not the best picture to draw near the Chansey's face, but it is what it is. But yes, in this section in particular, we really don't have the best eyes on. But with some of the mild scratching on the hollow and the very mild whitening, you know, you're probably looking at an 8, unless there's more wrong with it, then a 7 would be more warranted. But based on what I see, I'd feel comfortable with an 8 for sure. Nostalgia Trip, how do I submit mine? Well, my friend, welcome. And all you have to do is, the link is in my bio to my link tree, and you'll be navigated to here. All you have to do is click that Discord icon, or tap the icon, and it will redirect you to the Discord. And then the onboarding process will guide you to the grade review channel, and you submit your cards there. The biggest tip, though, is make sure just to look at the pinned messages in the channel to make sure that you're taking your pictures per the standard. Because I can't really review cards that are in a sleeve or a top loader, right? Because I don't know if is a scratch on the top loader, is a scratch on the card. I have no idea. So that's all you gotta do. Completely free. It is first come, first serve. So just keep that in mind, unless you want your cards expedited, in which case the server does offer a subscription, which you get priority. And that is how you do it. All right. Just subbed as a general. No way. Well, will you look at that? Thank you so much, Judd. I really appreciate that. I'll let you, if you don't mind, do you want to shoot me a DM? I'll explain some more benefits to you if it wasn't easily explained in the general column. Just so that, because I think you're the second person that's ever done it, aside from one of my good buddies. So I really do appreciate that. All the support, Judd. It really does mean a lot. So yeah, just DM me, just more as a reminder, and I'll tell you some more perks that you can take advantage of. But yes, thank you so much, Judd. That really does mean a lot. All right, so the Porygon Z. So the centering looks really good on the left and the right. And I think, though, the centering on the bottom, like the bottom to the top, is a little off center. Yeah, you definitely get some more perks for sure, Judd. But so I just want to make sure that you can take advantage of them. Okay, so there's that. So one big thing that I am seeing, like in addition to some of these like clustered scratches, is that there is what appears to be an impact by I guess the flipper. I don't really know what you'd call this, but almost like a nail mark or something in the flipper of that Porygon Z. But yeah, this card definitely has some scratches on it for sure. So definitely have that. Yeah, there's just a lot going on in the front of that card. And on the back, and I think they said something. Let me see. It's not there. Because I think they said something about the back of this card that I want to make sure. Oh, I thought you said the back of the Porygon Z. Okay. But yeah, it's really just that front impact, in addition to a little bit of whitening there on the bottom, and almost like a little bit of a bend there as well. So this card is definitely in you know, it's not heavy play, but it's definitely not near mint, that's for sure. So I think, you know, with this, I don't know, because I don't know if that's a dent or just a scratch or something. I really have no idea, because like here I would think that you would see some like depth to it almost. Additionally, you'd think you would see. Oh wow, we are almost already at 10K, Joran. You're right. Thank you guys so much. You guys are the best. You know, I really do. I'm very grateful to have a community with members like yourselves. For everyone that's talked and engaged, it really does mean a lot. And I'm super appreciative of all of you. So thank you guys so much. Yeah, so we have the little bit of whitening there in the bottom left-hand corner, a little bit of a bend there in the top right. But yeah, I would probably say just with that little bend and like the possible dent, like you're looking at like at best of 5, at worst of 4. So like heavy play to mod play. But it's really hard for me to really like, because like when we get thank you, Judd. I think I just saw that. Thank you. Yeah, I'll reach out to you when I'm done with stream, just to make sure that you're aware of all your benefits. But yeah, it's just like, I think with like heavy play, it's kind of difficult. I think it's probably more mod play than anything, but man, if there's anything else wrong with that, or if this actually is a true dent, you're definitely in the heavy play category, especially with this little, what appears to be a corner bend. So, you know, kind of keep that in mind. All right, so next up, we have, and I'm following Joran's rules here. So next up, we have Big Boy. So let's take a look. And this is outside the sleeve. It almost made it seem like it wasn't. But let's take a look at their Giratina and their Raichu. Again, I love the tag teams were such a cool concept for sure. All right, so the Giratina. So again, with modern guys, you know, it's pretty much 10 or bust. It's really kind of like what it boils down to, 10 or bust. So let's take a look. So the front of this Giratina, I think, I don't know if it's just kind of like my eyes playing tricks on me here, but it does appear almost like that. I'm trying to see if you guys can see it on stream. Kind of looks like that right side's maybe a little bit thicker, but as we all know, chat, we are going to bring out the almighty ruler. So that left edge on my screen is just shy of a 1/4 inch. And on the left side, it's just over 1/8 of an inch. However, it is at a slight angle. So kind of take it with a grain of salt, but based on the ruler, the right side's a bit thicker than the left. And as we flip it over, oh yeah, it's holy. This bottom part is much. No, I think it's outside the sleeve. At least this image, I think. It doesn't look like it's in the sleeve. But I could be wrong. It didn't look like it. Especially from this angle, because it's like overlapping on the edge. But it definitely does. This one definitely looks like it is for sure, Joran. For sure. But yeah, this card is pretty off center from, especially on the bottom. You can kind of even see here. And this is huge. So like right here, compared to the top, that is pretty off center. So I don't think that this would get the 10. I really don't think so. It's a clean card, great binder card, but I don't think it'd get the 10 because of the centering issues. And then the Raichu. So let's see. On PSA grade cards, what grade would be the cutoff for near mint? So like if you're so Steve, just to make sure I'm understanding you correctly, are you talking about like if you're to kind of convert like raw to PSA? Is that what you're asking? Like cutoff for near mint in that sense? If so, if I'm understanding your question correctly, so here's my kind of scale. So yeah, PSA to raw. So what I do is heavy play. Oh, so I'll work from damaged up. So damaged I get from like 1 to like PSA 1, PSA 2. Heavy play kind of falls into PSA 3, PSA 4. Mod play PSA 5. Light play PSA 6. Near mint TCG player PSA 7, and then near mint plus goes, that's pretty much exclusive to PSA grades or Beckett or CGC, whatever. So that's kind of my scale. That's what I follow personally, and it seems to work pretty well. You know, so if I think a card's going to get a PSA 6 and I'm trying to like determine, you know, it's not worth selling or it's not worth grading, I'll list it as light play is what I do. So hopefully that answered your question. All right, so let's see. Centering looks good, but I'm going to measure it just in case, especially that left side looks a little bit thick. So left side's 1/4 inch. Right side just shy of a 1/4 inch, so a little bit thicker on that left side, but I think we're still within the realms of being good for a 10 contender. And unfortunately, this right side, really the biggest thing having issues with your Giratina and your Raichus is that it's just too thick. These are thick boys. Like, look at that. That is one thick mama for sure. Like right here and then right there. But granted, this picture specifically is at an angle, right? So it's kind of tough to really, you know, say that it's off center. But from this angle, this right side looks thicker than the left. But I think this probably would get the 9. I don't think it would get a 10, but then again, we're gonna put the sad eyebrows on the Raichu. Maybe put a little flat brim. Little beanie. Medicham thighs for centering, right? But maybe put a little smiley face on this one. But it's the Luigi. Yes. It's a me, Luigi. And this is Mario. Marty, thanks so much. There we go. Thanks so much for the follow. I appreciate you. Maybe even a mushroom. If I can make one. We're just gonna do this. Maybe a little alien. Yeah, Steve, if I were you, if you're trying to raw hunt, or like not raw hunt, but collect ungraded cards, the best bang for your buck would be to look for PSA 7s, in my opinion. So if you look up PSA 7s and try to get them cheaper, that's probably your best bet, in my opinion, if you're looking for raw. All right, so looks like that is the end of the queue. So that is 37, and now we are going to go right into continuing our adventure of TCG Card Shop Simulator. You guys can see how far I've definitely gone off stream because that game is fun. Just give me 1 second here. Anytime, Steve. And then again, while I get ready, if you guys are new here, it seems like I've seen a few new people. That wall back there, that's my actual childhood collection. That I've had forever, since childhood. Yeah, I think one of these times because I have 2 shows coming up. I have a show, because I'm in New York, so I have 2 shows coming up. One at October 19th, and another one in November 23rd to the 24th. I have seen the mod for it, Jordan, but Nintendo's been going crazy, man. They've been like DMCAing people, copyright striking people, or whatever for a whole bunch of crap. And you know, this music is like Pokemon themed. I'm hoping it's changed enough to where I won't get like DMCA'd, but it says it's copyright free. I don't know. But yeah, so when the shows start to calm down, my intention for this stuff is to actually show you both my display case. I think would be really cool to show off on stream, and then to clean my own childhood cards and do like a grade review of my own stuff that I've had. Additionally, I finally brought my personal collection, not like on the wall, but from storage, in anticipation, hopefully, when I hit 10K followers over on TikTok. I think it'd be kind of cool to show off my personal collection on stuff that I kind of have in collecting and stuff like that. So I think that'd be really neat to show off. So now we're just going to get right into some TCG Card Simulator. And hopefully we got a hold. Hopefully this download doesn't destroy me. We're gonna close that. Let's see. Now we just get to chill. Rip open some packs. Alright, so pause that. And hopefully that is not crazy loud. If it is, let me know, but it doesn't look like it. Alright, chat. I'm gonna give you a grand tour of the old homestead here. Done my first PSA submission, got a 4 out of 4 PSA 10s. Either I got lucky or I have decent eyes for it. Your videos help. Well, that's awesome, Marty. Thank you so much for that. I'm really glad that you did find value in it. I'm just gonna turn this down just a little bit because I feel like I'm screaming. I'm gonna turn down even more. Probably like that should be good. I feel like I'm screaming. Time to work after work. That's what I'm saying, Jordan. The grind never stops. The grind never stops. But thank you so much for those kind words, Marty. I'm glad you found value in it, and congratulations for your first ever PSA submission. Coming back as all 10s is really impressive. So that's definitely very good for sure. All right, so really the only new things of my shop, we got the barriers. I got the Galarian Zapdos EX from Chilling Reign. That's awesome. The Galarian Zapdos is probably my favorite of the Galarian legendary birds. That's what I'm saying, Judd. It'd be nice if you guys could see my screen, huh? Wouldn't that be swell? So you guys can see what I'm actually playing versus just yapping about it. Wouldn't it be nice to pay attention to my chat? 5, 10, big spender. The sandals, chat. The grippers. Who needs 8 playmats? Like, the volume in which some of these people buy stuff is astonishing. Like, there are some people that will buy, like, 10 or 12 structure decks, or, like, 17 plushies of the same. Like, what are you doing? When are the next cards coming up? If you're talking about grade review, that's probably going to be next Wednesday. So that's going to be episode 38. But now I'm just kind of playing TCG Card Shop Simulator, chilling with chat, talking with you guys a little bit more before I wrap it up, because I got to edit videos. So that's normally why I... so once grade review is done, historically, that because I wanted to increase it, because I felt like when I do grade reviews, I'd pretty much just do them and say, all right, bye, chat. Like, nice talking with you, and then be done. Like, I kind of wanted it to be a little bit more extended so I can, you know, talk to you guys a little bit more and, you know, get to know you guys a lot better. You know, a lot of you have been frequent flyers, and I'm seeing more and more frequent flyers, which is awesome. Like, for example, I know Joran and Judd have come in here. That one guy has been in here a lot. Steve and some other people. But yeah. My cards were next. Hold on. Let me see. I could have sworn I just finished, but let me see. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. That one guy. Is your name the ugly ass caterpillar? Is that you? That thick boy worm from A Bug's Life? Is that you? Because I stopped between 15 to 20 normally, and I was right at that. That's awesome. That's great. Yeah, the reason why, honestly, the reason why I stopped at you is because I was already at 18 and you had 5. So I didn't want to like do like 2 of them and then have you wait until next week for the 3. I'd rather just wait, because if you have to wait next week anyway, I'd rather just do all 5 at once. Just so you don't have to bounce between 2 VODs. But yeah, normally I stop between 15 to 18 depending on what I see in the queue. Well, that's the hope, Judd. That's the hope. You know, and you know, as I kind of like, especially with like the cleaning service, that's another thing that I'm gonna be providing for like any of those subscriptions on Discord, whether it's the cadet, pilot, or general. You guys are gonna get exclusive coupons to my website for like anything in my store or for cleaning services or anything else. All that stuff is going to be kind of distributed across those different subscriptions. And so so that's why I wanted to talk to you after, because the cleaning service, as an example, is still in the early stage, or like the early release for Discord members. And so that's the first service I'm going to be offering to be able to like give a discount for or whatever. Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, there's some other cool stuff that I like hopefully want to do, and I have no time to put damn cards out, so people are gonna think I'm poor. God damn it. Alright, so once she's done, I gotta restock my crippled singles. You're gonna send my Zapdos? Oh, nice. That's sick. Jeez. Alright, come on. There we go. Alright, so now I gotta do this quick before they all flood me. Would it be so cool to have a binder that just like auto sorts by price? Like that, I would pay some serious money for a binder like that. Just like had to leave for a sec. Do you remember what you rated the Porygon? I think I rated it because there was a spot on the flipper. I don't really know what you'd call it on the, like, it looked like a dent. So I didn't know if it was a dent or a smear. So I think if it was not a dent, it was a PSA 5 on the front. And if it was, then it was a PSA 4 was my assessment. Because there was also like almost like a mild corner bend in the top. So when you flipped it over, it was on the top right, I believe. But that's what I assessed it as. Holy pigs. We got a whole playset of pigs, boys. The pigs are out. The feral hogs. Also got some dragons. Dang. Still 20 bucks. Could you imagine someone just like jumping around? Parkouring in their store while you're trying to play a trading card game? Has anyone else in stream played this game yet? It's so fun. I don't know what it is about, like, because obviously like I work like a full-time job, so it's like, what about doing this is like like I'm basically working another job, you know what I mean? So it's like, why, like, what's enticing me to play this? I think really it's just like, oh, like I don't, you know, order it, just a click of a button and it instantly arrives. Do I have any workers in the store yet? I don't yet. My store has like a steady flow. Like, I think what I want to do is I want to try to increase the space a little bit more so I can fit more tables over here. But I don't know. But so far I've been, you know, the flow has been good. But I love reading like the resumes that some of them have. Like, there's one guy, I don't know, I forgot, he might be in there still. He's like super cocky. It's like, I've worked at game stores before, blah blah blah, and he wants like a 6-figure salary annually. It's like, what are you on about? You like stock cards. Like, you're not the Jeff Bezos of TCG Card Shop Simulator. I almost charged that man way less. What did you rate the Jolteon? Because the Jolteon was in the beginning, because from what I saw in the Discord, the Jolteon was posted separately from the other cards, and I rated the Jolteon in the beginning of stream. So I honestly, I'm not trying to like cop out, but I honestly don't remember what I gave it. I'm sorry. But like I've said before, these videos, or these streams rather, will get instantly uploaded to YouTube in the live section as a VOD. So if you go towards like the beginning of stream once the grade review starts, it's like the first one. But yeah, I remember it being good though. I remember it being pretty clean. I love this is like a Bloons tower defense too. Like the stink turrets. Like any stinker that comes through there is just blasted. There's no escape. From B.O. Terry. If only they're that easy. If only you could like legally just spray someone with Febreze as they came in. Totally not assault or anything. But just destroy them. You know what I mean? Because we don't allow stinkers in Galaxia Gaming TCG. No stinkers here. Bunny hop around. For those of you who have ever played Counter-Strike. Oh, the EU timing. Well, thank you so much for staying around as long as you have, Joran. I really appreciate it. And it's always nice to see you in stream. Take care, my friend. Hopefully you have a good night's rest. And I might be streaming on Saturday because I really gotta dial in and get ready for my inventory. So I might be streaming Saturday. Thanks, Joran. You too, man. The GGs. Thank you. All right, let's see. The other game I really want to play, because I'm such a big fan of like horror games, a part of me really wants to like play some more horror games during Halloween. Like the new Silent Hill. I don't know if you guys have played or wanted to play the new Silent Hill 2. That game, I remember playing the Silent Hill series like when I was super young, like probably too young, like when like the PS1, PS2. But my dad didn't care, so I played them. Or the other game that I really liked, I don't know if I'm dating myself or if you guys will even know what I'm talking about, but it was kind of Silent Hill-esque. It wasn't Resident Evil. It wasn't Silent Hill. It was for the PlayStation. I think it was called Parasite Eve. That game was trippy. Because I remember there was like a zombie camel or something, and one of the maps was like a motel you had to like get out of for whatever reason. It was either like a zombie camel or like a zombie dog. I literally can't remember. But that game was really crazy. I'm trying to play that as like a elementary school kid. But I remember my dad and I used to love playing that game. Yeah, Parasite Eve was really fun. Metal Gear Solid. Used to love playing Metal Gear Solid back in the day on the PlayStation. The thing that I thought was really cool about Metal Gear Solid was that I forgot what part. I think it was when you had to get a code from, I forgot what her name was. Was it Meryl? I think it was her name, the redheaded one. That was like sneaking around as a guard. Like the code to get into or like to leave the facility before the tank boss. I think if you wanted to, the code was actually on the back of the game, which was pretty crazy. But I thought that was pretty cool. Just like I loved all those like little Easter eggs that Metal Gear Solid had. Like there are so many like little unique ways to like beat the game, like against what was it? Psycho Mantis, where if you wanted Psycho Mantis not to read your mind, you'd put your controller from player 1 port to the player 2 port on your PlayStation. Like, who thinks about that? You know what I mean? The game was like so ahead of its time. Good old Hideo Kojima. I bought my bulk box. Get scammed. Idiot. Yoink. Take my bulk. Alright, 9 it. Alright. Now we get to, so now when they all leave and when I restock, that's when I like to open packs. So anything leftovers for me. Leftover cards are for moi. So we're gonna flip that. All right, so what do we need? So we need green. We need red, green, I think blue. Right? Yeah, blue is. We need a blue. But what do I have stuff literally all over the place, and I forget when I have too much of stuff. And this one I already have a red. So put that there. Buying all my packs before I leave. Alright. So that's good. Trash that. Get this some of this dead stock. Yeah, this game's been very fun. Because why not? Why not work both in the real world and online? Perfect. I just love too that like you can't close these doors, they're just like wide open. Just let any hooligan in. Because why not? Why not let them in? We got bats all over the place. Alright, so these are more sleeves that I don't need. Let's see. These I definitely need to restock on for sure. But not as much as I think. I don't know why the red sleeves are just like not doing well at all. The green ones are doing good, but not the red. And then what's this? Just standard sleeves. We're not going to restock those. Those things have been there for like literally ever. Alright, so we got the boxes. Let's see. Put these up there. So we need more of that. I need an order of dice. Put that there. An order of red. Boom. Don't need that. And then we need order of that. One box of that. No box of that. We need 2 boxes of the reds. Man, the ETBs did not move like at all. We're good. We're good on plushies for sure. So we definitely sold a lot of stuff. Oh, there's a reviews. Oh, here we go. Guys, look at this. Our first reviews. Let's see. Not bad. Good shop to buy cards. This place is nice to play at. See? Good time. Look at all these 4.82. Who gave me a bad review? Absolutely a steal. So he's like basically saying that I got these cards for dirt cheap, still giving 4 out of 5. Comfortable, cozy. I love to play here. 4 out of 5 then? Come on, brother. The store is clean. Thank you. You're welcome. I blast them the moment you come in the door. This nice. Look at that, chat. Staff is friendly and willing to help customers. You damn right. I'll run right to you if you need it. Anyway, we need to buy. We need to buy and we need to open. I am going to open product in front of these people who are still in my store, even though I'm closed. One thing I wish they did add, though, is I wish there was a way to add a trash can actually in the store. I think would be really nice. But beggars cannot be choosers, unfortunately. As much as people want the devs to feel like they need to react to them, they're on the path. All right, so I'm gonna open up these in front of you to make you jealous. And the epic packs, let's see. These are gonna be for me. I'm gonna open up in front of you. And then the green. Restock there. Yeah, I love this little back cubby here. I just wish you could just close those doors. It's like irking me. I know they like can't come in because all you have to do is just like flick the you flick the sign to say, hey, come in through the other entrance or whatever, but it's still kind of the immersion, I guess is what I'm saying, is slightly broken when I have to leave my door wide open. But All right, so open these up in front of you, make you jealous. And then finally, got some blue boxes. Beautiful. All right. All right, chat, let's see what we can get. We really need... for context, my friends that I've been playing this game with, currently one of them has, I think, the highest pull of our group at like 4K. So if it's not anything above... If it's not above 100, I don't want it. It's going in the bulk. If it ain't 100, it ain't worth my time. Or above. Just looked at the rating. Thank you a lot. I only submitted cards I had as a kid. Oh, yeah, with a Jolteon and Chansey? Yeah, anytime, man. Yeah, I'm glad you submitted them. Again, it's just a nice fun thing to just look at some cool cards like that. Like, I haven't seen those evolution cards in a minute. I mean, it's, you know, granted they came out in 2016, so it wasn't like that long ago, but yeah, I would say for you having him as a kid, you know, that's pretty good in my opinion. Like I said, if you're still here, like all my personal collection stuff, when I do my own review, I bet they're going to be trash. None of those are going to be any good. I know, man, the Raichu. It was like the trend today. There's a few Raichus that were pretty beat. The Raichus got picked on today, for sure. Let's see. Man, and then other thing I really like about this game is I've said it once and I'll say it 10,000 more times. My luck opening product is trash. Absolute trash. Like that $22 card? No, get out of here. 100 or higher. That's the only thing that gets me excited about this anymore, is 100 or higher. 17, so I grew up with my XY evolutions and just got back into Pokemon, but now XY sets are crazy. And it's funny, I don't know if you were in stream when I was going over it, but it's really interesting because the sealed product for XY evolution specifically is super high, but the pulls, like the chases, are really not that expensive. But yeah, a lot of XY stuff, Sun and Moon, like even like the tag team stuff is really expensive now. But yeah. Well, it's cool that you're back into Pokemon though. Hopefully you're enjoying yourself back into the hobby. All right, we need 100 or higher. That is not 100. That is a $10 card that the game is getting excited about. I don't know why. I'm practically gonna fall asleep. These pulls are trash. I'm literally opening boxes of cards. Why are these pulls all trash? I really want to get the Mega Tyranitar, the Mega Rayquaza, but it's going to be expensive. Yeah, I mean, another thing too, like, you know, obviously, like looking for like light play or whatever, depending on what condition you're more, like you can tolerate more. Another way to look for cards is to look at like PSA 7s. Like if you don't care about them being graded, like say for example, if you're looking for like a PSA 7 Mega Rayquaza, you might get a deal in certain aspects, like if you're buying them on eBay or whatever. Just something to consider. Or if you have like a local game store near you, it's always like you can kind of like haggle a little bit if you're comfortable with that. I know some people aren't, but never hurts to ask. I've done it. But yeah, both of those cards are really nice, especially the Mega Tyranitar is super nice. We actually just reviewed, I don't know if you're here, because I think you said you showed up a little bit late. We actually just reviewed today. It was the first card reviewed. It was the Mega Rayquaza. Was it that one? I don't know if you saw it when you're going through the VOD, but $10 card, don't care. $30 card, don't care. 100 or higher. I don't know why I'm getting just destroyed. I don't get it, chat. What have I done to deserve this? Bad pulls. I don't understand. Trash pulls. 1300 higher, not even ever gonna come. I want a ghost rare. That's what I want. I want a nice, fat, juicy ghost rare. $12, $18, like, what are you on? Yeah. Yeah, those megas, man. I really love the megas. No, like the mega, like Gengar, the mega Tyranitar. What else? I'm trying to think of like ones that I really liked as mega evolutions, but I can't for the life of me remember any of them. This is translating so well to my luck in pulling cards. Don't care. $19 card, don't care. How many times do I have to say it, chat? 100 or higher now. Make it now. Something's happening. I don't know what. 36. That's definitely not 100. I'm getting upset, chat. I'm getting upset. I bet there... Is there even any more in there? No. Alright. We're gonna take this we're gonna do the old apartment strat. So we're gonna bunny hop to apartment 43 or 41. Let's go. Come on. Apartment 41 never fails me. Apartment 41 always comes in clutch. Every time I open packs up in front of apartment 41, it is I ask and I receive. It is what it is. I don't know. It's a lucky stoop. $14, trash. Go back to the 100. Come on. I know it's in there. I know there's one more in there. I guess not. Dang it. My stack of... I forgot I was doing this. I was making a tower of boxes. I threw away all my boxes. But anyway, chat. That is probably going to be it for me. So, well, guys, I really do appreciate all the love and support today. Another grade review in the books, successful. Talked about a lot of really cool stuff. Talked to a lot of really cool people, including yourselves, chat. Give a round of applause. Next stream is probably going to be either this Saturday or Monday, depending on what my schedule looks like. So Saturday, I have 2 weeks left for my card show that I really need to start preparing for. So it's probably going to be more like inventory and getting cards ready and pricing and stuff like that. So you guys can kind of get a sneak peek on what it looks like to prepare for a show, which I think would be really cool. So I'm either going to be doing that Saturday and or Monday. So definitely stay tuned for that. Again, if you guys are new here, make sure to click the link in the bio to follow the Discord and follow my socials. That way you guys can kind of stay in the loop on what's going on. On the road to 10K, which is insane to me to think that we're almost at 10K followers on TikTok. Trying to get there before the ban. So we'll see. But yeah, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate all you hanging out with me tonight. And I'm going to catch you guys in the next one.